Hello, good evening and welcome to UTV Life. Sit back and relax with me over the next half hour because on tonight's programme, 40 years ago, 24 million people watched the final of the Winter Olympics as Torvill and Jayne left the world breathless with their amazing performance to Bolero. And I am delighted that they're here to tell me about their amazing career and their upcoming tour called Our Last Dance. And Rita certainly is in for a treat.
I'm at the SSC Arena for a very special lesson on the ice, but something tells me I'm a little too long in the tooth to learn this new trick.
Sail away, forced to leave their island of green, sail away.
Irish folk band Green Road will be joining me and we'll hear their brand new single called They Sailed Away. And our film critic Brian Henry Martin will be giving us his top entertainment tips for this week. Well, in 1984, the British ice skating duo Torvill and Jayne captured the world's imagination with their stunning interpretation of Ravel's Bolero at the Winter Olympics in Sarajevo, breaking records with their score and, of course, winning gold. Not surprisingly, this changed their lives forever, and after half a century of dancing together, they've decided to finish on a high with their upcoming tour, Torvill and Jayne, Our Last Dance. I'm absolutely delighted that they're with me in the studio this evening. But before we chat, let's remind ourselves of how they dazzled a worldwide audience. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. I've still got it with the splits.
Well, that was recorded a while ago. The splits may have left me by now.
But Jayne, can you believe 24 million people watching that? And I was one of them.
Yeah, no, it didn't really hit us until we came back to the UK and realised, you know, how many people had watched and heard all the figures. Because right after the Olympics, we went back to our training centre in Germany because we had a World Championships and we didn't want to get distracted by, I mean, we was absolutely amazed at winning the Olympics. It was such a great honour and a great thrill for us, but we had to keep
When we came back to Nottingham, they put on a parade for us and they drove us through the streets and we thought nobody would turn up. But it was lined with people 5 miles out from the city centre, and then when we got to the square, it was just awash with people. So that brought it home to us how many people had watched.
And the routine was groundbreaking, specifically for the start, because of the music. You needed to be on your knees for the start. You had to have a certain amount of time before the skates touched the ice. Isn't that correct?
Yes, when we had to have the Bolero specially arranged because in its entirety is about 60 minutes long, and in the competition we could only have 4 minutes 10 seconds max. And when the arranger said I can't get it any shorter, it was 4 minutes 28 seconds. So we had to find a way of losing 18 seconds.
And I'm sure that gave the judges some head scratching.
You know, it's that grey area.
Yeah.
We worked in that grey area. And so they had to admit that we weren't skating, and the stopwatch started at 4 minutes 10 seconds, and we got a lot of sixes after that.
Oh, it was just, it was absolutely mind-blowing. Now, the tour, Our Last Dance, it's definitely called Our Last Dance for a reason.
Yes, because it will be our last go-round, let's say. We've been skating together for 50 years, and we've grown up together from, we knew each other at 10 years old in the rink, and we've sort of lived life together, and we just feel it's time, whilst our bodies can still do it and we want to do it, we wanted to have one last tour, one last big skate and say thank you to everybody.
Because, of course, the fact that it's called Our Last Dance, and when I said it's celebrating 50 years, but it's 40 years since Sarajevo, a lot of people just assumed that you'd turned up a couple of years beforehand.
That's right.
But you did have that 10 years, Jayne, beforehand as amateurs. And that, as I said, it changed your life because the Olympics were purely amateur there at the time. So turning professional was a different kettle of fish.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we did our first Olympics was in 1980, and then we knew after then that we might have a chance of a medal, bronze medal, for the 1981 World Championships. And but we decided to give up our jobs then and seek sponsorship. but we were truly amateur, so we couldn't go to a company and say, we can wear your logo, because we would have been disqualified. But we were lucky in that I heard about a grant that was available from our Nottingham City Council, and I wrote to them, and we were so lucky that we were awarded funding for the next 4 years.
Because we were competing against basically the Eastern Bloc, and they were in the Army or the Navy, and they were full-time skaters, so we had to do that in order to compete.
Their routines, I mean, it's pure athleticism, as we know from all around. But you went back to Sarajevo. That must have been so special.
Yeah, we went back on the 30th and the 40th anniversary, to be honest. But going back into the arena where we'd won, obviously their history with the war, the arena had been bombed and it was rebuilt again. And so to be able to go back into that space, and we met a lady who was, when we first went back, 36 years old. And when she was 6, she was the flower girl on the ice. They gave us some flowers, and we met her 30 years later, which sort of brought a lump to my throat as well.
Oh, I bet it
and this
did.
was in Sarajevo when we were out there, and we were working with some of the kids
You
out
did,
there.
yes, because we've got footage of you working with the kids as well, and that's a passion of both of yours, isn't it? Just to spread the word of ice skating. And I mean, we were just talking before you came into the studio. I fall over going across an icy car park, so to learn at an early age is so important.
Yeah, and you know, not everybody's going to be a champion, but it's about the discipline. It's about turning up, being responsible, and also an enjoyment, getting something out of it as well. So, yeah, whenever we can, we like to work with the young kids.
And obviously, it's the time is right for you to say, right, enough's enough. We're quitting on our terms. But you've still got dancing on ice.
Yes, the 17th series will be starting in January, and long may it continue. But the tour will be our last performances. And if Dancing on Ice continues, we'll just purely be there as judges.
We retired back in 1998 quietly and privately.
Yes.
We didn't really advertise the fact. And then Dancing on Ice came along, and they said, no, we don't want you to skate, but then we demonstrate something, and then we demonstrate something to music, and suddenly it became a performance, and suddenly we were back skating again.
It would be wrong if you weren't, because it just, I mean, it's incredible to watch. It's so balletic, it's so beautiful, and it has inspired so many people, Jayne.
Yeah, I mean, we as Chris said, you know, we love working with children, and anybody who is inspired to skate, whatever their age, you know, anyone can have a go.
And celebrities as well, you know, a lot of them come to the ice not being able to skate.
Yes.
And then that journey that they take.
But it's the ones who are willing to put in the hard yards that do well. And I mean, the example, okay, there's the laughability one of Todd Carty, etc.
Yeah.
But it's just the genuine love that everybody has for skating when they finish.
Absolutely. They get into this bubble and it becomes their Olympics. I mean, they're very passionate by the end. And we love to see that enthusiasm coming out.
And the competition between, competition also between the pros.
Yeah, well, there is that as well.
And then we love the judges. There's always the bad judge as well. Are you having the same judges this year?
Yes, we do have the
same
judges.
panel this year, yeah.
And please tell me that in our last dance, Bolero will be there.
Quite likely.
Somewhere.
If not, there will be a row the size of a house, as they say.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you so much indeed for joining me. We wish you the very best of luck. I'm going to introduce the next piece in a minute, because you're going to have your work cut out with our Rita.
Looking forward to it.
Listen, thank you so much indeed. And you're going to be in Belfast on the 15th and 16th of April, and I'm sure Nottingham is also going to be one of the highlights.
Yeah, that will be our last performance there as well. So
Jayne,
we're looking
Christopher,
forward to
thank you so much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, talking about inspiring the next generation, Torvill and Dean showed a few tricks of the trade to some young aspiring ice skaters, and Rita in the SSE Arena earlier.
Catch me, guys. Beautifully caught. Didn't you do well? Aaron and Megan, it's so gorgeous to see you here today. How excited are you to meet your sporting heroes?
We're absolutely delighted to share the ice today with Torvill and Dean. They're two of the biggest legends, I suppose, in figure skating in the UK. We're just so delighted to meet them.
They really are. And what's it like for you then?
I find it just so great to be able to share the ice with two of the biggest pillars in the skating community at the minute.
Well, look who I managed to get off the ice for a second. Aren't they doing so well? Hannah, Teddy and Holly. Hannah, you are 7. What do you love about skating?
I love the twists and twirls and spins and jumps.
I like how I can go fast and how I feel free.
And is it nice being part of this school of ice skating? You all skate together, you're all friends?
I feel really lucky with the team that I have. We're all very close and it's really nice to train with them.
It's just a dream come true, really. You know, a lot of kids watch on TV and, you know, may see them make appearances, but they never actually think that they could be part of it. So it's a massive opportunity today.
So excited.
And yeah, they are. They're so excited. It's great.
How do you follow that? The truth is, you don't try. You just try not to fall. Are you ready to catch me again? I'm coming in between you. Look at that. Caught by 2 stars.
That's how you stop, apparently.
Isn't it? Look, it's incredibly inspiring for these young people to have their sporting heroes like yourself. I mean, you've done this your whole career, but you know how important it is for these young people, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, we had mentors when we were younger as well. And it's just amazing to see these skaters on the ice performing out here today. It's really encouraging that from the seed, you know, from the early ages that they are all growing up and going on to compete. So yeah, it's really inspiring for us.
And I know you've only seen a glimpse of it, but they're pretty good here in Northern Ireland, aren't they?
They are pretty good. I'm very impressed. And as Chris said, it's nice to see them out here. Nice to see them enjoying what they're doing.
Just stand there. You just stand there.
Look what I'm doing! Oh my word. I'm dizzy in a good way.
Dancing on Ice is next. Well, still to come, I'll be talking to PJ Sinnott, Ned Wall and